Om Narayanam Suragurum Jagadekanatham Bhaktapriyam Sakalalokanamaskritancha Triguണ്यवर्जितमजं विभुमाद्यमीशं वन्दे भवघ्नममरासुरसिद्धवन्द्यं नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये देवं नारायणं नत्वा सर्वदोषविवर्जितं परिपूर्णं गुरूंश्चागीतार्थं वक्ष्यामि लेशतः हरिः ओम्. Good morning, everyone. This is the weekly Pratipadartha. We are resuming from shloka number 41 of the 11th chapter. Now, this 11th chapter, 41st shloka, is part of one single stretch of 11 shlokas spoken by Arjuna. Uh, from shloka number 36, we hear Arjuna having a very nice, from shloka number 36 to 46 is one conversation from Arjuna. It's one of the lengthiest that we hear in a long time. After he had a very good say at a very long stretch in the first chapter is where he had maximum shlokas. And after that first chapter, this is the chapter where we hear maximum from Arjuna. And this is one of those long, Arjuna Uvacha, Arjuna's talk. And these 11 shlokas are coming just after the, I think, the 13th Arjuna Bhagavan Uvacha, the 13th time Krishna completes his Upadesha. Shloka number 32 to shloka number 34. It's a very short Bhagavad-Gita. Krishna has given another full round of Bhagavad-Gita. Those three shlokas are another Bhagavad-Gita. So, in a way, we can say there are 13 rounds of Bhagavad-Gita, or maybe 12 rounds of Bhagavad-Gita over. The beginning of the 11th chapter, where Krishna has four shlokas attributed to Bhagavan. Maybe they are not Bhagavad Gita. We may not be able to call them as Bhagavad Gita. We may, but I wouldn't call it as Bhagavad Gita. Most of the other Bhagavan Uvachas, from the time Bhagavan begins and to the time he completes, I think those every such Bhagavan Uvacha can be treated as one Bhagavad Gita. But at the beginning of this chapter, maybe that is not one Bhagavad Gita, purely because it is just a conversational thing. Arjuna was requesting for the Divya Chakshu, and Krishna says, "Yes, I will give you Divya Chakshu." Right? That's just the conversational statement. So we may keep that away from calling it as Bhagavad Gita in itself, because we believe that there are many Bhagavad Gitas in this Bhagavad Gita. At the end of every chapter, we keep saying Bhagavad Gita. Like there are, it's a Bahuvachana. There are many Bhagavad Gitas. Among these many Bhagavad Gitas, among these many Upanishad type, Upanishad worthy Bhagavad Gitas, Krishna Arjuna Samvada. That's what we say, right? So there are many Bhagavad Gitas. So we have just heard the 12th round of Bhagavad Gita from the Bhagavan, which is shloka number 32 to 34 of this chapter, where the message is very clear. He is the Loka Kshayakrit Pravriddha Kala. He is that Kala, the time, taken the progressive step forward for the sake of the Vikara of the Jagat, which includes Kshaya, the destruction, the Kriti, the creation, and the Pravriddhi, the progress, right? So he is that kind of a Kala. And with or without you, O Arjuna, the eventual end outcome is decided, right? Ritepi tvam na bhavishyanti sarve. Whether you choose to play an active role or no, the end outcome is decided. Number one. Number two, he says, therefore, when the end is decided by me, the Kala, and that Kala is also Akshaya Kala, right? When we look at the way the Kala has been defined by himself in the 10th chapter, Ahameva Akshaya Kalaha, he says. No, the Kala in itself doesn't have any change. And Kala is also described in the 10th chapter with another line, Kalaha Kalayatamaham. Wherever we define time stamps, knowledge stamps, destruction stamps, he is that Kala. Kala is Kalayatam. Kala is stain is called Kala. Art is called Kala. Jnana is called Kala. There are many. Chedana is called Kala. Kala Chedane, Kala Jnani. There are many different definitions. And all of them do converge. When we do the upadharana of these thoughts repeatedly, I think all of these things do converge. So next he says, you know, when this the eventuality is decided in the course of time, the outcomes and things like that, you please play your incidental role and get some yashas and victory, like, get some success and victory and some fame and pleasures. Please enjoy life. You have to play an active role. you know the 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 vegetation is decided by the Bhagavan. We have to play the farmer's role. If I don't play the farmer's role, not that the vegetation will stop, somebody else will play. The farming will happen, the vegetation will happen. Right? That's the way. We have to play the nimitta role. So the next sloka he says, Nimitta matram bhava, hey Savya Sachin. And the third shloka, very beautiful, where he talks about Drona, Bhishma, Jayadratha, Karna. All of these people are gone. And when you look closely, all these four people have this amazing vara, right? Drona is the guru of both the armies. Bhishma as the Ichha Marana vara. Jayadratha has the vara where somebody who drops his head, his head will burst out into thousand pieces. Like some crazy vara like. And he's got some 23 Akshohani worth of Sainya. Impregnable, undefeatable, infallible. These are the kind of names. And Karna. Karna is blessed with that, Kavacha Kundala, right? I mean, that's what we call him. He is blessed with the protection. Even those people are gone. Even if those people, along with many other people, are already killed by me. And these are the seeming difficulties that we tend to confuse ourselves with. Oh, should I do this? Such a great difficult terrain. Should I really go forward with it? Do I stand a chance? We have to just do the Swadharma, right? That's the Nimitta Matra role, is that we have to just play that Swadharma. The greatest of the difficulties, if I have to succeed in my Swadharma in this current Janma, the Bhagavan, the Kala has already taken care of that. That's the Nimitta Matra role, right? So I shouldn't really worry about the Dronas, the Bhishmas, the Jayadratha's, the Karunas kind of hurdles that we all face in life. We have to just keep playing our Nimitta role. The end outcome is decided. So that's the powerful Bhagavad Gita that we just heard from Bhagavan. And post that, what we hear from Sanjaya is that Sagadgadam Bhita Bhita Pranamya Uvacha. The Arjuna is speaking with a lot of trembling, state of his being, like, his voice is faltering and things like that. And in that discourse, now we have seen, one, two, three, four, five shlokas, right? Five shlokas out of the 11. Five shlokas is what we have seen in this 11 set of shlokas coming from Bhagavan. And these are beautiful recollection from Arjuna. In a way, it is a quick recollection of the entire Bhagavad Gita that we have seen till now. If at the end of uh, the 10th chapter, where Krishna tells Arjuna, Athava bahunaitena kim jnatena tavarjuna, what do you have to know more, O Arjuna? Vishtabhyahamidam kritsnam mekanshena sthito jagat. I pervade this entire jagat and hold it, in my seat, sthitaha. This entire jagat is sthitaha with just one amsha of mine, he says. And Arjuna is reciprocating, right? In these 11 shlokas, he's sthane rishikesha. Yes, in your place. Sthane can be looked at as the avyaya sthana, sthane. Sthane is that avyaya, which means yukta. It is definitely rightly so. And sthane can also be the locative, version of the sthanam pada. There is a shabda called the sthanam, which is the location. And sthane then becomes a saptam vibhakti, which is a locative, in your sthana, right? In your place. Jagat prahrishyati anurajyate cha. So whatever Krishna mentioned to him in the 10th chapter, yes, it is true. In your place, people are worshipping you. Rakshansi bhitani dishodravanti. Like all of that, all these Rakshasas are running helter skelter. And sarve namasyanti cha siddha sankhaha. And all the great sages are doing namaskara to you. That is essentially the essence of the Maharshaya Sapta Purve Chatvaro Manavasthatha Madbhava Manasa Jata Esham loka ima praja. All of those things that we heard in the 10th chapter, end to end, quickly Arjuna is recollecting, yes, that is all true. And then he goes on to say, if in the 9th chapter the message was that, bow down to me with bhakti, like, ananya syantaya jana paryupasate, tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. No, those who worship me, ananya bhakti bhava, patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati. Whatever you offer to me with absolute bhakti, tadaham bhaktya upahartam, thereby getting completely abducted by your sweet little bhakti, I will enjoy them. Like, manmana bhava madbhaktaha bhava madhyaji bhava, maam namaskaru, do namaskara to me. That's the end of the 9th chapter. Now Arjuna next he says, Kasma chatena nameran. How can we not do namaskara to you? Right? Gariyase Brahmana api adikarte. You are bigger than even the Adikarta Brahma. Right? He is recounting all the messages, all the teaching that were given to us chapter after chapter. In the 8th chapter, Krishna was telling him, the way you should do the anusandhana, anuchintana of the Bhagavad Tattva, is through the thoughts of Puranam, Anushasitaram, Anoraniyam Samanusmaret. Like, imagine this Bhagavan, Brahma, Akshara Brahma to be the Kavi, the most intelligent, Purana, the ancient, Anushasitaram, the one who is governing. And Arjuna is reciprocating in this 11th shlokas. He is now telling him, Tvam Adi Devaha, you are the primordial, Purushaha Puranaha, you are the Purana Purushaha, Tvamasya Vishwasya Param Nidhanam, you are the ultimate resting abode of this Vishwa. Right? I mean, he is recollecting all of those teachings and not just recollecting from the theoretical teachings. He is recollecting these concepts through his own experience of what he saw in the Vishwarupa. That's the most brilliant part about these 11 shlokas. He is just not rote, repeating what he heard from Krishna chapter after chapter. This is recollection through his experiences. If in the 7th chapter Krishna was teaching him that, all the elements, paratattva, aparatattva of the Prakriti, right? Bhumirapo, nalo, vayuhu, khammano, buddhirevacha, ahankara iti yamme bhinna prakriti rashtadha. And now he is recounting those elements with their abhimani devatas. Vayur yamognir varunah shashankaha prajapatistvam prapitamahascha namo namaste susahasra kritvaha punascha bhuyopi namo namaste. Yesham tvantagatam papam jananam punyakarmanam te dvandva moha nirmuktaha bhajante mam dridavvrataha. That's where we see the gamut of the teaching of the 7th chapter. And Arjuna is recollecting all of that. Bhagavan punascha bhuyah api namaha namahate. He's- and if the 6th chapter, the Atma Sanyama Yoga, the teaching was all about Samabuddhi, Sarvatra Samabuddhayah, like, Sarvatra Samadarshanaha, Yo Mam Pashyati Sarvatra Sarvam Chamayi Pashyati. That Samabhava is the core message of the Atma Sanyama, the tranquility that we need to develop inside is primarily to develop that Samabhava. And the best message that is coming from Arjuna now is that Namah Purastad Hata Prushtatasti. I will bow down to you from all sides because you are that Sarva, Sarvam Samapnoshi. You pervade everything equally, nicely and equally. Sam Apnoshi, Sama Apnoshi. You embrace everything nicely. You pervade everything equally. Right? That's the message. Samapnoshi can be some apnoshi, sama apnoshi. It can be both equally pervading and nicely encapsulating, enveloping. That's the sarva. He is the sarvam sama apnoshi sarva. That's why you are called a sarva. Sarvam cha mayi pashyati. Like, you got everything in me in everything. That's the samadarshana, the samyak bhava that we need to develop towards all. And that's the Atma Sanyama. If we have to do dhyana, the dhyana is primarily around developing the Samabuddhi. And Samabuddhi is not to make us indifferent. There is a difference between, Padma Patrami Vambhasa, where you are calm with all the disturbances around. You have the Samabuddhi for the slush or the water, not like Darvi Suparasaniva, where a ladle is kept in a very hot vessel of rasam or sambar. That is lifeless. It is not even being in the middle of the rasam sambar. It's not even taking the rasaswada from the rasam sambar. Not like that. Samabuddhi is where we live amongst the public. We give due credit and due treatment for each one's svabhava and things like that, but we have empathy, friendly nature, the indifference where it is needed, in the right way for all living creatures. For all living and inanimate creatures, we have the same samabuddhi. That's the samadarshana. And that will happen when we imagine this Sarva, who is that Bhagavan, who is the Samapnota Sarva. He is the one who is well pervaded everywhere and nicely holding on to everything. When we look at that bhava, that Bhagavad bhava in everyone, and it's quite natural that we develop these four top Bhagavad Sadbhava, right? Which is Maitra, Karuna, Mudita, Upeksha, the friendliness, the happy feeling, the compassionate outlook, and the indifference, in terms of imagining anything adverse coming from another person. We won't really look at that. In a transactional way, we treat them for what it's worth, right? But not necessarily come up with any prejudice. We are happy to meet anyone. We don't carry the baggage, things like that. That's the Samabhava. And that's the whole message of the sixth chapter, right? And we saw chapter after chapter being recounted by Arjuna. And that is where we have done till the 40th shloka in the previous session. Today we are beginning from shloka number 41. If you click on the link under the room title provided by Shraddhaji, this is a beautiful website. We will directly be taken to the 41st shloka. It reads like this: Harihi Om. सखेति मत्वा प्रसभं यदुक्तं हे कृष्ण हे यादव हे सखेति अजानता महिमानं तवेदं मया प्रमादात् प्रणयेन वापि सखेति मत्वा प्रसभं यदुक्तं हे कृष्ण हे यादव हे सखेति अजानता महिमानं तवेदं मया प्रमादात् प्रणयेन वापि. Right? Let's see the Padacheda. We scroll down a little bit on this website. We come to a section called Padacheda. Sakha iti matva. Sakheti matva. There is a sandhi. Sakha iti sakheti matva. Prasabham yad uktam. Yat uktam becomes yaduktam. Ta becomes the jashtva sandhi. It's called. But yeah, yat uktam. Hey Krishna. Hey Yadava. Hey Sakha iti. Sakha iti becomes sakheti. Right? Similar to the first beginning of the shloka. Sakheti, sakheti. Ajanata mahimanam tava idam is tavedam. That's another guna sandhi, like Maha Isha Mahesha, tava idam tavedam. Maya pramada pranayena va api is va api. It's called the Savarna Dirgha. So these are some of the sandhis, and when we look at these words, split words, and put them into a proper unjumbled way, we get the prose ordering, right? While in Sanskrit it doesn't really make a difference, orderliness of the words, because in shloka the word, the subject, the predicate can be, here and there in terms of position. It doesn't really make a difference in Sanskrit because they hold a certain position by the syntactical construct, right? But nonetheless, for making it sound like a normal sentence, we use something called the anvaya, where we hear these unjumbled words in a proper sentence format, the prose order, right? It says, so Arjuna is continuing to tell him, like, he's addressing him by different names. Hey Krishna, hey Yadava, hey Sakha. But he's telling, Tava idam mahimanam ajanata sakha iti matva pranayena va pramadatva api maya हे कृष्ण हे यादव हे सखा इति यत प्रसभम uktam cha. Right? And इस श्लोक का अन्वय अगले श्लोक में निहित है. The continuation of this shloka, will happen. The conclusion of this shloka, is concluded only in the next, when we bring the next one also together. We have to view this one and the next one together is what it primarily says. But yeah, what he is telling is tava idam mahimanam ajanata sakha iti matva pranayena va pramadatva api maya he krishna he yadava he sakha iti yat prasabham uktam. What does that mean? We click on dictionary on the top, right? Tava idam mahimanam ajanata, not knowing this greatness of yours. तवा इदम महिनानम, तेरा तुम्हारा इस महिमा को न जानते हुए, like something like that, so these words, when we put them into any Bharatiya bhasha, the translation becomes much easier, be it Telugu, Kannada, Gujarati, Odia, Bengali, Tamil, any language, the syntactical structure of these languages are very similar, all Bharatiya bhasha. That's why she is the Bharati, right? Samskrita is the Bharati. Yeah, tava idam mahimanam ajanata, but in English we have to place them here and there. Unknowing, not knowing, completely being oblivious to this greatness of yours, O Bhagavan. Sakha iti matva, considering you to be a friend, a human friend, a companion, okay, thinking of you to be a normal, ordinary human friend, a companion. Pranayena va pramadatva, either out of extreme closeness, proximity, pranayena. Pranayena is also love, right? It's also closeness. Or pramadatva, or because of the negligent error, because of the lapse in judgment. Pramada is basically lapse of judgment, lapse of consciousness, pramada, where suddenly there is a momentary lapse, right, of reason, of consciousness, of discrimination. No, pranayena va pramadatva, either because of extreme closeness that I considered towards you, or because of the lapse in judgment that I could experience. Maya, by me, Hey Krishna, Hey Yadava, Hey Sakha iti, calling you Hey Krishna, Hey Yadava, Hey Sakha iti, yet prasabham uktam. Whatever turbulent words were spoken to you, Prasabha is basically, uh, we heard that earlier, right? In the second chapter, we heard the same word in Bhagavad-Gita. Vipaschitaha indriyani pramathini haranti prasabham manaha. Prasabham is basically either the turbulent manas or forcibly snatching the manas away. My voice didn't go lost, right?
No, no, you are audible.
Suddenly, if the phone goes into sleep, then yeah. So, prasabha is also the forcible behavior, turbulent behavior, rough behavior, something like that. Yes, yet prasabham uktam. Perhaps they are using those words for the next shloka because it's combined, right? But that word came in this particular shloka. Maybe in this website, in the Anvaya, the meaning, they will use it in the next one, basically. So, Krishna is been now, the Mahima of Krishna is known, like Kalosmi Loka Kshayakrit Pravriddha Lokan Samahartamiha Pravritta. With those shlokas, the Mahima of the true Mahima of the Bhagavan, not only his Gunatita Swabhava, not only his Deshatita Vyaptatva, not just his Kalatitatva. Like he's also beyond the time, but not just beyond, he's enveloped all the time, and he's beyond the space, and not only beyond the space, he's enveloped the entire space, and he's not beyond all the qualities, he possesses all the qualities, whatever good qualities. Guna is normally the good qualities, right? Opposite of that is dosha, right? Dosha are the unpleasant ones, and he's got all the ananta guna, right? And when Bhagavan's Mahima, the true Mahima, has been kind of realized by Arjuna, and that is where this is the shloka in which now he is slowly getting scared for the closeness that I assume, or the judgment I kind of did not exercise correctly, because of which I casually started calling you Krishna, Yadava, Sakha. I started looking at you very, very casually, which means imagine what will happen when we start treating life, every life opportunity, without any necessary seriousness. Like, child comes, Papa, Papa, I twisted my ankle. I look at it a very, very casual approach without taking it as my duty to do something about it. Right? That's a scary situation. Right? I have a duty to discharge, and I'm taking things very, very lightly, right? Because I consider, oh, Bhagavan, oh, this duty, oh, this report to my boss. I know my boss so very well. This can be done tomorrow. Oh, mom is asking me to bring some vegetable from the grocery shop. I can do that in the evening also. Let me now continue watching Netflix. You know, this is whenever we tend to show callous approach, because either through pramada, either through the lapse in judgment, or through the pranaya. Oh, it is only after all, it's my wife. It's after all my daughter. If it's after all, my very close friend, boss. This boss who is very dear to me. Oh, it is just the society. I know the society. Oh, they want me. Okay, Bharata, they have approached me. Bharataji, can you please take us a lecture on Bhagavad-Gita? I should do that immediately. But I will be like, this society, right? I mean, I can do that tomorrow also for them. Whenever we show this callous approach, like, that is where we need to start getting scared. And now we can see the real scary bit, because the last five shlokas, it is something to really relish. So we could see that, Arjuna could have been in a very happy mode looking at those, while reciting, recounting those five shlokas. But this shloka perhaps is where he's actually getting serious, getting to the gravity of the situation, and perhaps regretting those few moments where he would have considered to close himself to the Bhagavan, to the all powerful Bhagavan, and tended to kind of, do away with his core duties, water down his seriousness around the duties. So, pramadatva, by the lapse of judgment, yeah, pranayenava, or because of my considered, proximity to you, I started calling you very casually, hey Krishna, hey Yadava, hey Sakha iti. Yat prasabam uktam, whatever was loosely spoken, whatever was harshly spoken, that roughness can be harshness. Because when we don't give the proper position of respect to a person, though we consider them to be very, very close to us, that itself is a rough behavior. When I mean, my mom can be very, very loving to me, but she is a mom. She is Pratyaksha Devata Swabhava, the Pratyaksha Devata Rupa in front of us. If I don't give that proper respect to her, it is basically ill treating her, and that's the roughness. If I don't do the same thing to my father, Mata, Pita are our Pratyaksha Devatas. Then, the people, our bosses, our managers in our workplaces, some senior member in our society, they might be extremely friendly to us, and we shouldn't take that advantage. Many a times when we go to our acharya parampara gurus, those gurus also will tend to speak to us in a very, very friendly manner. That shouldn't give us any extra wings of, do the guru nindana, asking some vitanda vada prashnas, questions and things like that. So Krishna might be coming as, Sakhe, Sakhu, Bhaktosi me Sakhati Cheti, Rahasyam Hietaduttamam. In the fourth chapter, he says, you are my dear friend. That's why I'm telling you this, all of this. So Krishna can consider everything to be a Sakha, but that shouldn't give us that extra license of condemning him, looking weakly upon him. Krishna might say, I am your dear friend. But when he says, get up and fight, O Arjuna, he should do that because he is Bhagavan. We shouldn't forget that fact. But Arjuna was like, Katham Bhishma Maham Sankhya, how can I do this? Krishna is telling, get up and fight. You are back answering. How can I do this? That's very, very wrong. So now he's getting to that realization. I took too lightly of you by calling you Krishna, Yadava, Sakha, and I might have spoken anything that's harsh, that's rough, that's disrespectful to you. Right? That's a realization that's coming to Arjuna. Right? Again, right, coming back to the chapter by chapter, in the fifth chapter, the beginning is that, tell me what is sannyasa, what is karma, the confusion around that. No, and Krishna answers that very nicely. Yam sannyasa prahuhu yogam tam vidhi pandava. What is sannyasa? That itself is yoga. Yeah, pashyati ekam sankyam cha yogam cha. One who considers both sankhya and yoga to be the same. Sa pashyati. He is the one who really, really understood. Sankhya yoga prithak balaha. That sankhya and yoga are two different things is a very, very childish kind of a outlook. And now he is recounting that, pranayenava, by assumed extra proximity, or through pramadatva, or through that lapse of judgment. That's precisely what he was teaching. And what are we supposed to do all of this work for? Brahmani adhaya sarva karmani sangam tyaktva karoti yaha lipyatena sapapena. For the sake of that Brahma, we have to do the work. Taking refuge under the Brahma, we have to do the work and give up all the attachments and do the work. And then we will not be bound by any papa. Lipyatena sa papena. Padma patram ivambhas. I think we spoke about that. And we have to do things for the sake of that Brihatva Brahma. But here that Brihatva Brahma is standing right in front of him, and he is repenting. Oh, without understanding your Mahima completely, I have just roughly, insultingly, been referring you as Krishna, Sakha, Yadava. My mistake, my problem. Something wrong went from me. Did happen from me. That's the kind of a recollection happening from Arjuna right now. Very, very beautiful realization, right? When you have Bhagavan in front of you telling you get up and fight, you go on asking some unnecessary questions. Many a times it happens to us. We would have been unnecessarily asking Bhagavan, Bhagavan, help me with this, help me with that, help me find a beautiful girl, help me get a good job. Bhagavan would have given us those opportunities. He would have granted a very beautiful girl, but we would have been expecting Aishwarya Rai, Madhuri Dixit, some crazy image. We wouldn't have been really recognizing that beautiful girl. Bhagavan would have sent that beautiful girl, somebody who was desperately seeking a marriage alliance. I'm not talking about myself or anybody here in particular, but in general, right? We keep requesting Bhagavan for a lot of things. He would have been granting a beautiful girl, also he grants a good career option, also he grants a great job, also he offers, good blessings in the education also he provides us everything. We wouldn't have recognized the opportunities, right? And that is why in the modern context we say the opportunities don't strike twice. People who miss the opportunity in the first strike are the ones who didn't recognize the opportunity, because it's difficult to recognize an opportunity. It's very easy to say opportunities don't strike twice, but many people find it extremely difficult to even recognize an opportunity. And that is why that happens when we constantly look for, keep looking for, is it the right thing, is it the dosha, guna dosha. That's where the brahmana happens. Brahmanyadhaya karmani sangam tyaktva karoti yaha. Forget everything and for the sake of the big picture do it. You will have your opportunities, you will have your prasada, right? But here, quite often than not, we tend to ignore it. Bhagavan would have given us this. Bhagavan would have ordained us to do certain things. But we would have gone beyond all of that and then look at the guna dosha, confusing ourselves, and then again go back to Bhagavan. Bhagavan, you didn't give me enough, give me more. Right? That's the hey Krishna, hey. That's where either we consider, assume extra proximity to the Bhagavan, or we get deluded with the momentary lapse of reasoning, lapse of judgment, things like that. Pramadatva pranayenava. They say, right, in the modern context, we have the saying, what's that? Leads to contempt. Familiarity breeds contempt. Yeah, there is a saying we say familiar, and this happens like when we disrespect our parents, most often than not, it's the familiarity to the parents, the closeness, the assumed closeness, proximity to the parents, which will trigger that contempt behavior. Like, we start scolding them, speak very roughly with them. And that's what happens with Bhagavan many a times. When we work with the CXO groups, the executive leadership in many organizations, though we start at a very, very low level job prospects, when we work very closely with very, very senior people in the organization, typically those roles are double edged swords. We have proximity to some of the very sensitive information, right? And the minute we behave loosely in such job environments, it can chop our neck off. It can easily cut our neck off. So whenever we have more and more closeness to the higher and higher positions, and Bhagavan is the ultimate urdhva moola madha shaka, right? He is the ultimate top position. Kutastaha, he is rightly at the summit, right? The more and more close we reach to the top, right? Be it in the organizations, be it in the joint family, be it in the society and things like that. We have to behave. Our behavior in turn has to be that much more dignified, justified. We have to do justice to that role. We can't be loose behaved. We have to behave in a very, very upright fashion, right? There is no scope for loose talks. There is no scope for gossiping and kind of, oh, I have the raw files information with me, like, I have the ISI network know-how about me. We can't be loose mouth, when we have access to such, confidential classified information, right? But sometimes what happens is pramada pranaya, will trouble us, and amazing realization coming from Arjuna. And this is what is something that we all need to be cognizant of. The pranaya, the pramada. These are the two things that typically will completely destroy us. No, the attitude of pranaya, assumed closeness to the seats of supremacy at the higher and higher level, and pramada, the momentary lapse in judgment, the reasoning, and things like that. Okay, let's see what Aurobindo says for this shloka. Okay. For whatsoever I have spoken to you, thinking of you only as my Sakha, human friend and companion, O Krishna, O Yadava, O comrade, Sakha, iti, not knowing your true greatness, either in negligent error or in assumed proximity, in love. And then it is implying another line, which is, I pray forgiveness from you, which I think is coming from the next shloka. Right? So both the shlokas have they have some bit of commonality, right? With that, we move on to the next shloka. It's a very these 11 shlokas are something to truly contemplate deeper and deeper on, because Bhagavad Gita, it's Bhagavan's words. But what the student can learn, Arjuna is expressing from what he learned. So these 11 shlokas from Arjuna are the Bhagavad Gita from the student's perspective, from the student's point of view, right? And that gives us a lot of unlocking capacity, because we can relate more closely to Arjuna than to Krishna, because our if there are life situations for which we are seeking Krishna's message through Bhagavad Gita, then we have to be students. We can't empathize with Krishna, right? We have to empathize with the person who has benefited the most from Krishna's teachings, which is Arjuna. Okay, with that we move on to the next shloka, shloka number 42. Harihi Om. यच्चावहासार्थमसत्कृतोऽसि विहारशय्यासनभोजनेषु एकोऽथवाप्यच्युत तत्समक्षम् तत्क्षामये त्वामहमप्रमेयम् यच्चावहासार्थमसत्कृतोऽसि विहारशय्यासनभोजनेषु एकोऽथवाप्यच्युत तत्समक्षम् तत्क्षामये त्वामहमप्रमेयम्. There are some version changes. Some versions call it as yachavahasartham, and some versions call it as yachapahasartham, va or pa. Yachapahasartham or yachavahasartham. But from an overall bhava for the shloka, I think they both are okay. Right? Let's see the padacheda. Yat cha avahasartham asatkritaha asi. Yat cha becomes yat cha. Yat cha, yat cha. The tu becomes cha. It's called the shchutva sandhi. What's some sandhi? Avahasartham asat kritaha asi. Asat krito si. There is a visarga and the purva rupa. There are two sandhis happening there. Asat kritaha asi. Asat krito si. Vihara, shayya, asana, bhojaneshu. Ekaha athava api. Ekothavapi. There are two sandhis. Like ekaha athava is ekothava. Similar to asat kritosi. Like there is a visarga sandhi. Eko athava and purva rupa. Ekothava. A gets joined. So there are two sandhis. And athava api athavapi. Ekothavapi. Api achyuta apyachyuta. That's another sandhi. Yana sandhi it's called. Api achyuta apyachyuta tat samaksham tat kshamaye tvam aham aprameyam. When we put these words in a proper sentence, we get the anvaya, right? Hey Arjuna. No, not hey Arjuna. Hey Achyuta, sorry. Hey Achyuta. Yat avahasartham or apahasartham. There are two versions, right? Yat apahasartham or avahasartham. विहारशय्या आसन भोजनेषु एकः अथवा तत् समक्षम अपि असत्कृतः असि तत् अप्रमेयं त्वाम अहम क्षामये. Very beautiful. Hey Achyuta, yat avahasartham viharashayya asana bhojaneshu ekah athava tat samaksham api asatkritaha asi tat aprameyam tvam aham kshamaye. What does that mean? We click on dictionary. Hey Achyuta, oh Achyuta. Achyuta is Krishna. But Achyuta is without any chuti, without any defect, without any sin, without any issue. Right? He is impeccable. There is no speck of issue in Krishna. Right? But he is faultless, spotless, sinless, Achyuta. But we are making mistakes, right? Prasavam yatuktam, whatever rough behavior was displayed by me, that's what he ended the previous shloka with. So he's now calling him, hey Achyuta, yet prasabham uktam, whatever rash behavior was spoken by me, rash words were spoken by me. This is coming from the previous shloka. Yet prasabham uktam he Achyuta, yet avahasartham, avahasa apahasa, insultingly, in jest, for the sake of fun. Like avahasa artha, avahasa artha, avahasa artha, avahasa, like ha asa. Ava is vyangya. Vyangya is in a twisted way, for jest, for fun and things like that. Or apahasa, in an insulting way. Apahasya we say, right? I think that's a word that is prevalent in many regional languages, Bharatiya regional languages. So either whatever apahasa artha, either in vihara, shayya, asana, bhojana. Either in vihaya, in recreation or play, shayya, in sleep, asana, in the seating posture, or bhojana, in eating. Ekaha athava, either one of them or tat samakshamapi, and in all of them also. Samaksham is everything, samaksham, in its entirety. Samaksham is basically entirety. But I don't know why this website says another's presence. I don't know which part of Samaksham brings in another's presence. Okay, but that is how many websites also uh, translate it. Right? But I really don't know which part of Samaksham, because Aksha is view, consideration. Sam is Samyak, in its entirety. In its entirety of consideration, or in its entire consideration. That's the way the words can be broken, but I don't know. Many websites, when we see many translations say either alone or in a group, right? Api asat kritaha asi. See, asat kritaha, something that is unreal, unreal done unreal. Asat is unreal, kritaha, done, right? Disrespected is the interpretation brought in this website. But couple of shlokas earlier he calls him as sadasachaham. Twamaksharam sadasat tat param yat. You are the Sat and Asat Param. What is Sat and Asat? When we discussed that, I think last week we spoke about that. Sat is karma. Like Nasato Vidyate Bhavo. Asat doesn't have a bhava. Only Sat has a bhava. And bhava is developed through karma. You know, Bhuta bhava udbhava karaha visargaha tat visargaha karma iti sanjitaha. That's the definition we get in the 8th chapter. To define what is karma, karma is that special act, visarga, which brings in the bhutana bhavaha, udbhava karaha. The one that brings in the bhava among the bhuta rashi. Right? So sat is karma and asat is karana, reason. When we don't do karma, the only thing we can give is reason. How can I kill my guru? I will not fight. Mayotse. Like there are many reasons we can keep on giving for why it is not done. That is asat. So when we shun away from duty, I might give a lot of reason. Oh, this boss wants me to send him a report. He is one guy who always does this partial behavior. I will not do. Like how Krishna is telling. How can I do? How can I do to you? You are calling me on my weekend. I will not do. Oh, my work time is done. I will not do. Oh, I am stuck on 12, 20 different other reports. I can't do. I will not do. Did you inquire the other team members who have not got single such extra assignment? I will not do. So the reasons can be plenty. Oh, there is no point in giving any extra favor to that boss. He will anyway just come the year end during appraisal. He will not have any consideration. No, he will not remember this favor. I will not do. That I will not do. When we decide not to do, what are the things that we can do potentially? Like, I'm supposed to go to the school and study as a student. I bunk my class. In my engineering days, it was very, very common. What do we do when we bunk the class? Either we go for a play, we play in the ground, cricket, or we go for a movie, recreation, vihara. That's recreation, vihara. Or we just lie down on the katte. We have that juggly, katte, whatever, the bench kind of a thing. We just want to lie down. Go to the hostel, plenty of hostel rooms are there. We just lie down, shaya. When we don't do the core duty, the only things that we do are either we seek some entertainment, recreation, or we sleep, or we just sit dumb, stare at frivolous things indiscriminately, asana, or we keep hogging, go to the pub, go to the eatery, go to the canteen, eat, bhojana. When we decide to abdicate from our core responsibility, this is what we can do. Vihara, Shaya, Asana, Bhojana. What else can we do? When Arjuna decided not to fight, Uktva Tushnim Bhabuvaha, he sat down. Asana. I mean, asana is also some action, right? There is some action happening, it's some karma. But it is Viruddha karma. It is not supposed to be done by him, but he is doing it, right? Now, whenever we decide to shun away from our responsibility, my mom says, Bharata, go get some grocery. I will do later. I am not doing. What will I do? Either I'm watching Netflix or I'm doing some unnecessary time pass discussion in Clubhouse, right? These are the few things that I can do, right? Vihara, Shaya, Asana, Bhojana. Now he is telling Ekaha athava tat samaksham api. In one of these frivolous activities or in all of them together, O Krishna, yet asat kritaha asi. Whatever akarma was done by me, karma is sat. Asat is akarma, simple. When we show inaction towards our duty, it is asat kritaha asi. Whenever I did akarma, O Krishna, tat samaksham, tat aprameyam tvam aham kshamaye. Oh, no, with the immeasurable. Aprameya is incomparable. You do not have another comparison. Please forgive me. Tat aham kshamaye. I pray for forgiveness. Now is the bhaya swabhava shown in Arjuna. For all that closeness that I assumed towards you, right? Pranayenava pramadatva, or because of my lapse in judgment, I consider too close a person to you. Hey Krishna, hey Yadava, hey Saka, you're after all my Krishna. You're after all my Yadava. You're after all my Saka. Not me who's calling you Saka. You called me Saka. The Bhakto Sime Saka Cheti Rahasyam Hetudutam. You called me Saka. I am too close to you. And in this closeness, what do I do? I do akarma. Akarma in what way? Whenever we do akarma, whenever we say, I do not do my core duty, that is where we do akarma, right? Inaction. We can only do four things: vihara, shaya, asana, bhojana. When we travel in the train, it's a very beautiful observation we can do. When we travel in the train, when we want to be karma baddha, when we want to be truthful to our dutiful behavior, those people who are dutiful in their outlook, they will be studying in the train, like Shastra Dhyana, reading a very, very serious book, something that can give you knowledge. Because anyone who's serious, in our Shat Karma, in our Shastra, we have something called the Shat Karma. Adhyayana, Adhyapana is a constant karma for a Vaishya, Kshatriya, Brahmana. These are the educated people. These are the people who can become yogis. People who don't want to become yogis will remain Shudra, right? They don't climb higher and higher and higher. They go down. Ruksho Munihi. He is the yoga, right? Yoga Ruda is one who desires to climb higher and higher and higher in the path of yoga. Yoga Rudaha. Ruksho Munihi. Those are the things that we heard in the sixth chapter, long ago, right? When we are not so serious in our outlook in terms of adhyayana, adhyapana, we can do that in the train journey. People who can take their official calls in the journey, and there are people who do that. But most people are of the type who are in this pramada, pranaya, who think, kal ho sakta hai, chalta hai, like that chalta hai type of a behavior. Oh, this can be done later. Oh, my adhyayana, I will go home and read it. No, how can I do adhyayana in this noisy train? How can I do adhyayana in this shaking train? All of that nonsense. And hence there are people who aid in our tamasika behavior to do more of vihara, shayya, asana, bhojana. There are people who sell very nice earphones so that we can plug it into our phone and keep listening to some nice movies. Vihara, entertainment. Shaya, there is a nice berth. We look for the berth and go lie down, sleep. Asana, just look through the window seat. Just stare at nothingness. You're not getting anything. Just stare at nothingness. Asana, bhojana. Every 2 minutes you'll have somebody selling chai, mungfali, biscuit, vada. Somebody will keep coming. Idli, dosa. Somebody will keep coming and selling something or the other. And these are the four activities that majority people engage in when they go for long train journeys. Vihara, entertainment, that that small gadget handheld device now is the loaded powerhouse of entertainment. Shaya, the berth is occupied and there are people sleeping in a 24-hour journey. They are in their berth for that entire 24-hour time slot. Shaya, and there only they are constantly sleeping, they are constantly in the earphone also, they are doing everything, right? And endlessly staring at nothing. Asana, bhojana, and continue eating. There are people who can complete their 48-hour train journey in their berth doing all four activities simultaneously. Ultimate pramada, right? This is ultimate tamasika behavior. But there we have actually shown disrespect to the Bhagavan by not doing those limited opportunities, fulfilling those limited opportunities in terms of adhyayana, adhyapana, get into some calls, do some work. We don't do that, most people. So Krishna has shown in his Vishwarupa, right? With or without you, this will happen. You choose not to do, that's your choice, that's your judgment. You will have your yatha rupa phala. No, whatever you deserve for that, you will get the phala. So Arjuna gets into that realization. Oh Krishna, if I have considered myself extra special to you, extra close to you, and with that, if I exercise some lapse in judgment, and I engaged in one of these or all of them in terms of vihara, shaya, asana, bhojana, and in that I did akarma, asat kritaha asimaya, then I please beg for forgiveness from you. Tat kshamaye. Tvam aprameyam aham kshamaye. I bow down, I beg for forgiveness from you. Very beautiful realization from Arjuna for the akarma he was displaying. We can't take the literal meaning of this shloka. Let's see what Aurobindo says. Not knowing this greatness of yours, for whatsoever disrespect was shown by me to you, in jest, at play, on the couch, on the seat, or in the banquet, alone or in the presence. I don't know why they are saying that. Alone or in the presence. O faultless one, I pray forgiveness from you, the immeasurable. But I really don't know what is alone or in other presence. Either one of these activities or all of them. I think that's a much better way of looking at it, because it is he's getting scared now. The only reason why anybody should feel scared for the Bhagavan is when we don't fulfill our ordained duties. That is where we have to feel jittery. If for any other things, we should be happily moving alongside with Bhagavan's kirtana, right? There is no point in getting scared of Bhagavan. The only reason we have to get scared is when we abdicate our ordained duties and engage in one of these four, one or more of these four: vihara, shayya, asana, bhojana. And that is where we would have watered down the true greatness of the Bhagavan, either because of our assumed closeness to him or because of our lapse of judgment. I think this is what message that comes from Arjuna very nicely. Right? With that, we move on to the next shloka. Harihi Om. Now, this is again, right? Karma akarma is very important. This is the essence of the fourth chapter. If at all we have to understand the jnana karma sannyasa, it is primarily to overcome what to do, what not to do. Kim karma kima karmeti kavayopyatra mohitaha. Tatte karma pravakshami is where we see. That is the essence of the jnana karma sannyasa yoga, the fourth chapter. What to do, what not to do, even the greatest of the brains are deluded to understand. And Krishna's answer is, karmanya karmaya pashyet. One who can see akarma in karma. If you are seeking entertainment, do seek the entertainment while delivering your core responsibilities. And akarmanisha karma yaha. And retain the sense of responsibility even when you are doing akarma. You might be doing a train journey, but there is a aspada, there is an opportunity for you to do, adhyayana, adhyapana. Do that rather than sleeping. So in akarma also regain the sense of karma, right? We can do that. But if you really want to do that slothful behavior, engage in that slothful behavior of vihara, shayya, asana, bhojana, binge watch Netflix or train journey, I will download a couple of seasons of this program, I will do binge watching of all the programs. If you really want to do that slothful behavior, that is akarma, asatkritaha. And Arjuna's realization is the important thing here. If I have done any asat karma, oh Krishna, please forgive me. Right? That's the essence of the fourth chapter. What was taught as a theory in the fourth chapter, through the darshana of the Vishwarupa, Arjuna is recounting that, please forgive me for whatever akarma I was engaging in. I will not do that anymore. Now he will say that I will not do that anymore. Because that's the essence of karma. Karma yoga is all about do, relentlessly do your work. Right? That's the essence of the karma yoga. Right? Now he says, we move on to the next shloka. Right? पितासि लोकस्य चराचरस्य त्वमस्य पूज्यश्च गुरुर्गरीयान् न त्वत्समोऽस्त्यभ्यधिकः कुतोऽन्यो लोकत्रयेऽप्यप्रतिमप्रभाव पितासि लोकस्य चराचरस्य त्वमस्य पूज्यश्च गुरुर्गरीयान् न त्वत्समोऽस्त्यभ्यधिकः कुतोऽन्यो लोकत्रयेऽप्यप्रतिमप्रभाव. What does the Padacheda tell us? Pita asi lokasya chara acharasya. So there are a couple of sandhis. Pita asi, pita asi. Chara achara, chara chara. Right? Tvam asya pujyah cha. Pujyah cha becomes pujyascha. Guruhu gariyan. Gurur gariyan. There are two sandhis there. Natvat samaha asti. Samosti. Asti abhyatikaha becomes astyabhyatikaha. Samostyabhyadikah. Adikah kutah anyah kutonyah. That's another sandhi. Lokatraye api. Lokatraye api. Api apratima prabhava. Apya pratima prabhava. Api apratima apya pratima. So that's another sandhi. So these are some of the sandhis. We put these words in a proper sentence, right? Anvaya. Hey Krishna, Tvam asya characharasya lokasya pita asi. Gariyan guruhu asi. Pujyah cha asi. He apratima prabhava. Lokatraye tvatsamaha api na asti. Anyah abhyatikaha kutaha. He's ending with a question. What is that? What does that mean? We click on the dictionary. Hey Krishna, Tvam asya characharasya lokasya pita asi. You are the Pita, the father of this Chara Loka, the Loka that is filled with Chara and the Achara objects, the moving and the Stavara Jangama, we say, right? The moving and the non moving objects. Or the Loka which is Chara, but it is also Achara. The Loka is constantly changing, it is Charati, but it is also Achara, it is the way it is. Right? That is the Samadhi Sthiti of the Loka. You are the father of that Loka. Gariyan Guruhu Asi. You are the greatest Guru also, the most solemn object of veneration. Gariya is greater. You are the greater Guru also. Pujya cha Asi. You are also the one to be done the puja of this Jagat. He apratima prabhava. He incomparable influence. Prabhava. Prabhavati prabhava. Prabhava is the bearing, right? Overbearing influence of this entire Jagat. Or prabhava, prabhasa. The prabhava can also be the might. right? Apratima. Apratima is incomparable. Or apratima. Pratima is basically uh, the the manifested stage, right? You are the infinite, unmanifested might, influence of this universe, of this loka. Lokatraye tvat samaha na asti. In all the three worlds, Lokatraya, there is no one equivalent to you. Anyaha abhyatikaha kutaha. Where can be somebody bigger than you? Right? So basically, you are the supreme Pita, Guru, and the one to be worshipped. Right? Now, this is the bhava that came as the essence of the Karma Yoga. No, Mai Sarvani Karmani Sanyasyadhyatma Chetasa Nirashir Nirmamo Bhutva Yudhyasva Vigatajvaraha. Do do your karma for my sake. You know, attach, pledge all your deeds to me without any mamakara, ahankara. Get up and fight. Right? That's what the essence of the Karma Yoga was at the end of it all. Because there is not a single moment that we can do nothing. There is something or the other. Karyate hi avashah partha sarvaha prakriti jair gunaihi. Like everyone keeps doing something or the other based on their own prakriti born gunas. Right? Now he's recounting that. Hey Krishna, you are the Pita, you are the Father, you are the Guru, you are the Pujya. There is no one equivalent to you in this entire three worlds put together. How can there be somebody greater than you? Now, this is very important. This is a prelude to what's going to come in the next shloka. It's very important to put the pledge that you are such a great person, and also reconfirming when Krishna said, ye tvetadabhyasuyanto nanu tishtanti me matam, the one who does not listen to me, sarvajnana vimodhantan vidhi nashtana chetasaha. One who does not listen to this teaching of mine, this is what he said in the Karma Yoga, in the third chapter. They will become sarvajnana vimodha. They will be deluded of all the vidya, all the jnana, and vidhi nashtan. They will get destroyed completely because of their achetas, because of the lack of chetana. Now he's telling you are the ultimate guru, you are the greatest of the guru. Whatever you taught is the most appropriate teaching. Tvam Gariyan Guru Asi, Pujya Asi, Pita Asi. This is recounting very nicely. He's recounting. You are the Apratima Prabhava. You are the immeasurable, incomparable bearing, the influence, the force, the might of this entire world. There is no one equivalent to you. Where can there be somebody better than you? There is no one better than you. And towards the end of the Karma Yoga, also, Yo Buddhehe Paratastu Saha. You are the ultimate para. You are the Paramatma. Right? That's another confirmation coming from Arjuna. Let's see what Aurobindo says. You are the father of all this world of the moving and the unmoving. Of the moving and the unmoving is one. Chara Chara Sahita Jagat, or Chara Jagat, which is Achara also. The moving world itself is still, it's this constant state of its being. Right? That's the dichotomy we have to overcome. Whenever we look at the Bhagavan, Pashyame Yogam Aishwaram, Sacharacharam, Brahma Karma Samadhina, there are few things, Ashwattham Prahuravyayam. Some of these statements, they, at a surface level, they may sound dichotomic, like, no, it is not. Matsthani sarvabhutani, nachamatstani bhutani. There are many seeming contradictions at the surface level. We have to overcome them, right? So, and that overcoming can only happen through repeat contemplation, upadharana. No? You are the father of this world which is moving and unmoving. You are the father of this world comprising of the moving and the unmoving. There are two ways of looking at it, right? You are the one to be worshipped, pujyahacha asi. You are the most solemn object of veneration, gariyam guruhu asi. No one is equal to you in this entire three worlds, lokatriye tvat samaha na asti. How then another greater in all the three worlds than you, O incomparable in might? Kutaha anyaha abhyatikaha. Where else is the O apratima prabhava? Right? Very beautiful. Now, this is the realization. This is all through, this is not theoretical, right? This is the experiential recounting from Arjuna of the Mahima. So, these 11 shlokas are brilliant Bhagavad Gita. Let's go to the next one. That's another, I mean, all of them are beautiful. I think I should stop telling beautiful, beautiful. They're all beautiful. So, let's see this shloka. तस्मात् त्वमन् sorry, कृष्ण तस्मात् प्रणम्य प्रणिधाय कायं प्रसादये त्वामहमीश मीड्यं पितेव पुत्रस्य सखेव सख्युः प्रियः प्रियायार्हसि देव सोढुम् तस्मात् प्रणम्य प्रणिधाय कायं प्रसादये त्वामहमीश मीड्यं पितेव पुत्रस्य सखेव सख्युः प्रियः प्रियायार्हसि देव सोढुम्. The Padacheda, Tasmat Pranamya Pranidhaya Kayam Prasadaye Tvam Ahamisha Medium Pita Iva becomes Piteva, that's the Sandhi. Pita Iva Putrasya Sakha Iva Sakheva Sakheva Sakyuhu Sakha Iva Sakyuhu. There are two Guna Sandhis. Priya Priyayaha Arhasi Priyayarhasi Priyayarhasi. So that's another Sandhi. Priya Priyayarhasi Deva. Priyayahasi Priyayarhasi. Deva Sodham. So there are couple of sandhis, three sandhis in this shloka. Let's put them in a proper order, right? Tasmat aham pranamya kayam pranidhaya idyam isham tvam prasadaye. That's one sentence, right? Tasmat aham pranamya kayam pranidhaya idyam isham tvam prasadaye. Hey Deva, पिता इव पुत्रस्य सखा इव सख्युः प्रियः इव प्रियायाः सोढुम् अर्हसि. Right? What does that mean? Tasmat aham, therefore I will, pranamya, bowing down, kayam pranidhaya, prostrating, having prostrated my body, ishamedium tvam prasadaye. You who are the Lord, adorable Lord, Idyam Isham, Idya, no, Ishamide Visano. So Ida is to adore, revere. The Idyam Isham, the one worthy of the Idyatva, no, the adorable Lord, you, I, Tvam Prasadaye, I bow down to you, I seek from you, I demand grace from you, Prasadaye, I seek prasada from you. Why is he seeking prasada? Because in the previous shloka he says, okay, pitasi lokasya, no, lokatriya, like, I bow down to you now. Tat kshamaye, right? Namo namastestu. We keep hearing that repeatedly, right? So I bow down to you now. Okay. Pranidhaya, kayam pranidhaya, Ishvara pranidhana, right? That's another important thing in the yoga. In the Yoga Sutra, we hear that, Ishvara pranidhana. Aham tvam ishamediam kayam pranidhaya aham pranamya tvam prasadaye. I will fold my hands to you. I will prostrate in front of you. I will sing your glories. I now seek prasada from you. Very important. After realizing that he is the Pita, he is the Gariyan Guru, he is the Puja, he is incomparable, he is the greatest in all the three worlds. Now I will do Sashtanga Namaskara to you. Sashtanga Namaskara is basically I offer all mine to you. My manas to you, my speech to you, my actions to you, my heart to you, my pada to you, my janu, my knees, which are the support system. You are my support. You are my action. You are my speech. You are my manas. You are my everything. Basically, I offer my all for the sake of Brahmanyadhaya Karmani, we say, in the fifth chapter. Whatever I do is now for your sake. Exactly to what Arjuna was asked for in the third chapter, Mayi Sarvani Karmani Sanyasyadhyatma Chetasa Nirashi Nirmamo Bhutva Yudhyasva Vigatajvaraha. So, whatever we do now is for the sake of that Brahma. Brahma is that big picture, the Brihatvat Brahma, for the sake of this entirety. Loka Sangraha Karya, no, for the sake of the goodness of this Jagat, for me being an incidental continued action in this creation. Because see, we are part of the creation, we are also agents of the creation. All our actions are adding, contributing to this creation further. Creation is not a one time activity, it continues to happen. And we do our actions for the sake of Bhagavan's that experiment, Bhagavan's that action that he triggered initially. We continue with our continued contribution in this action. Evam pravartitam yajna chakram na anuvartayati ihayah. No, that's what he said in the third chapter. This is the Yajna Chakra. This is a progressive Yajna Chakra. Those who do not actively participate in this Yajna Chakra, they are the futile Atmas. They are the wasteful Atmas, is what he said. So now, my existence is for your sake, for the sake of Yajna Chakra, for the sake of the Brahma, for the sake of the Brihatva, for the sake of the Loka Sangraha. I will do all the things for the sake of you. But we all have doubts. Am I doing it right? Like when the chariot is being pulled, am I strong enough to pull the chariot? All we have to do is we have to do our best. Am I wrongly pulling the chariot rope in the wrong direction? Is it reducing the strength? See, these kind of questions will come when you look at the chariot pulling that happens. We want to offer our 2 cents of strength, in pulling the chariot. But many a times we keep wondering, am I disturbing others who are better might than me? We have all that unnecessary questions. Am I doing it right? Somebody asked, Bharataji, can you teach us Bhagavad-Gita? Am I fit enough to teach anybody Bhagavad-Gita? Do I know Bhagavad-Gita enough? We don't really bother too much about the end picture. We do it for the sake of Bhagavan, without any mamakara, ahankara, without any vested motive, nothing. Brahmanyadhaya sarva karmani sangam tyaktva. Sangha is basically कर्तृत्व संग हेतुत्व संग कर्म फलापेक्ष संग akarmani karma sangha. I will not have any of this sangha. I will not consider that I did anything. I will not consider that I did this for these reasons, that these are the causes, these are the end outcome. I will not have any attachment there. I will not have any sangha towards karma pala peksha. I do this, I need to get this. No, I will not have any. So we give up all such sangha and do for the sake of the Bhagavan. you know Tvam Isha medium aham kayam pranidhaya pranamya prasadaye. Now I bow down to you. All my actions are now for you. But those lingering questions, if there are any later point in time, pita iva putrasya. It took me a long time to realize that my father liked the sugarless coffee. Or there is a certain, even if there is sugar, it's very, very little sugar. The first few days I would make coffee to him in my third grade, second grade, no, fourth grade. I was a very young guy. Coffee is the easiest thing to make, right? You just boil the milk and then decoction is kept ready by the mother. Just pour little of it and then and he likes strong. Sometimes I put half the cup of decoction also. But whatever coffee I give him, he would say, brilliant, amazing. Like, so if we were to think, I did a wrong coffee, but I did it in a very, very Bhakti Purva Bhava. That's what's more important, right? Pita iva putrasya sodhum. Whatever I do now, once I do pranamya, I offer myself to you. Now there will be shortcomings in my offering to you. When I do bhakti bhava offering of all my karma towards Bhagavan, all my duties are now for the Bhagavan, all my kriyas are for the Bhagavan. There are bound to be shortcomings. Krishna arpanam astu we say. But a father will be able to bear those shortcomings. Whenever the child does something wrong, a father will be able to bear those shortcomings, right? Sakyuhu sakha iva. A friend will be able to bear the shortcomings of another dear friend. Like when we buy gift for a friend, we don't really know what is the favorite color. We might know that later, but when you take a very nice gift with a very, very, very proper Sakhya Bhava, another Sakhya Bhava friend will accept it. Even if he has not worn the pink shirt all his life, if you give as a very good friend, he will wear the pink shirt. And you will be able to bear, like how a friend does to another friend, like how father does to his son, like how a lover can do to another lover. Priyaha priyayaha hiva sodhum arhasi. You are able to bear my inadvertent shortcomings of my actions. I will offer everything to the Bhagavan. Karma. That's what he was telling in the second chapter. Yavanartha udapane sarvata samplutodake tavan. Don't bother. You are already in the path of the Bhagavad Karya. Why are you bothered about the Veda Dhyana, Veda Vadarata? Don't bother about that. Tavan sarveshu vedeshu brahmana. So when you are already in the banks of Ganga, don't buy the Bisleri water, right? If you are Trishitaha in the Jahnavi Tira, don't go for the, Kupam Vanchati. You're looking for a well to drink water. Don't do that. Offer everything to him. Like, he will bear. If there are shortcomings in the process, he will bear. If there are no shortcomings, even better. Like many a times we keep wondering, am I doing the right job? Am I doing it right? Am I chanting it properly? Chant. If you are conscious of any known issues, try to change them. If there are any subconscious inadvertent mistakes happen, we offer for the Kshama Prarthana, and he will forgive us. When we do that, when we forget our own bodily existence and offer our things, ourselves completely unto him, he will accept it very, very gracefully. And now Arjuna is telling, hey Deva, just like how Pita will forgive the inadvertent shortcomings of a son, how a friend will forgive the inadvertent shortcomings of another friend, how a lover, like, see, when it's okay if I buy just a small, bouquet of flower to my lover, to my wife, right? On the wedding day, on the wedding anniversary date, I don't have to really look at, is this the right gift for her? Last year I bought her a sari, Kanjivaram sari. This year I don't have that much money in my pocket. A true loving wife will accept anything, even if it's just a flower, if it's just a small rose, she will definitely love, he will be able to bear those things. So if there are any inadvertent shortcomings, and in the process, it doesn't really make much of a difference whether her favorite flower is jasmine or rose or any other thing. She will just blindly accept it. So, priyaha priyayaha, iva sodhum arhasi, akarma sodhum arhasi. Vikarma sodhum arhasi. Forget akarma, it's vikarma. We will only be scared of, is this viparita being done by me, right? So a father will forgive the son the inadvertent shortcomings. The son cannot say, I don't know how to make coffee, Papa, I will not do. If the son, oh, let me try making some nice coffee for you, go do whatever. You might have done the worst coffee from its objective way. But in the reality, the father will be jumping up in joy. The son just made the coffee, the daughter just made the coffee, right? That itself is a reason to cherish. So God will accept it very, very gracefully. Whatever karma we do for the sake of the Bhagavan, for the sake of the big picture, Tvam Sodhum Arhasi. The teachings from the Sankhya Yoga is coming very, very nicely. So these shlokas are brilliant realizations, recollection of the entire Bhagavad Gita so far, whatever we have heard, coming from the amazing student that is Arjuna. Right? That's a beautiful. These 11 shlokas are some of the best bhakti bhavas when we do proper chintana around them. Okay, let's see what Aurobindo interpretation says. Therefore, I bow down. See, whenever we say bow down, the Sashtanga pranama we say, right? Daurbhyam, Janubhyam, Padbhyam, Panibhyam, all of that, Daurbhyam, Janubhyam, Shirasa, Urasa, Manasa, the eight offerings that we do, our manas is for the Bhagavan, our speech is for the Bhagavan, our support is for the Bhagavan, our actions are for the Bhagavan, our movements are for the sake of Bhagavan, our support is the Bhagavan. All our thoughts are of the Bhagavan. Bhagavan is basically that big picture and beyond the big picture, right? Brihatvat Brahma, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, right? So when we say bow down, my kinchit existence in this planet is for the sake of the society. Like loka sangrahameva api sampashyan kartum arhasi. And that is the Bhagavad Karya, our swadharma, which is basically our swabhava driven for the sake of the progressive contribution to the society, that Swadharma is the Bhagavad Karya. Krishna will say that towards the end we will hear that. Swakarmana tamabhyarchya. The best way to do Bhagavad Seva is by religiously sticking to each of our Swadharma. And don't look for the dosha. We sometimes, many a times, we keep looking for dosha. Even the Sattvika Agni will have the Dhuma dosha. Even the Sattvika fire will have the smoke as a defect. Don't look for the defect. Just offer it to Sri Krishna Arpanamastu, like how a father will be able to bear the shortcomings of the son, like how a friend will be able to bear the shortcomings of another friend, like how the lover will be able to bear the shortcomings of her lover. Bhagavan will be able to, not only will be, Arhasi, you do deserve to bear this from me. Take it from me. So I bow down to you. So therefore I bow down before you and prostrate my body and demand your grace, the adorable Lord. As a father to his son, a friend to his friend, and a comrade, as one dear with him he loves, so should you, O Godhead, bear with me. Sodham. You are able to bear with my shortcomings, inadvertent shortcomings. No, doesn't mean to say that I will do something short and he will be able to bear it. No, no, no. We give our best prayatna. That's where the sastanga comes. My thoughts are there, my intentions are there, all my actions, my full energy. So give your best, then the rest is taken by him. Right? We can't do mindful shortcoming. If there is a mindful shortcoming, that's a big papa. When you say that patram pushpam phalam toyam also, when patra is the best thing you can offer, offer that. When you can offer the pushpa and the phala, you say, no, 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 I will eat the phala later, I will offer the patra to the Lord. That's the wrong thing to do. Offer the best you have to the Lord. And if the best happens to be patra, be it. If it's the pushpa, be it. If it's the phala, be it. If it's the toya, the ultimate rasa, be it. Offer everything to him. Right? And he will give it back. We do the prasada, he will also give the prasada. We will see that later. Right? Prasadaye tvam. I will offer it to you. Okay, with that we move on to shloka number 45. Harihi Om. अदृष्टपूर्वं हृषितोऽस्मि दृष्ट्वा भयेन च प्रव्यथितं मनो मे तदेव मे दर्शय देवरूपं प्रसीद देवेश जगन्निवास. प्रसीद देवेश जगन्निवास. Right? अदृष्टपूर्वं हृषितोऽस्मि दृष्ट्वा भयेन च प्रव्यथितं मनो मे तदेव मे दर्शय देवरूपं प्रसीद देवेश जगन्निवास. The second time we are hearing this Prasida Devesha Jagannivasa, right? And another time we heard Ananta Devesha Jagannivasa, right? So these are the expressions when he is scared. And scared is only when you are doing akarma, asatkrita. That's where we have to be scared. When we don't discharge our ordained duties, what we are capable of, for the sake of the Loka Sangraha, for the missed opportunities is what we have to be scared about, not for anything else. He is a very, very friendly person, right? Bhagavan. But nonetheless, adrishtapurvam hrishitosmi drishtva bhayena cha pravyathitam manome tadeva me darshaya deva rupam prasida deveshu jagannivasa. Let's see the padacheda, right? Adrishtapurvam hrishitah asmi hrishitosmi. That's a sandhi. अस्मि दृष्ट्वा भयेन च प्रव्यथितं मनः मे मनो मे. That's another sandhi. मनः मे मनो मे. तत् एव मे तदेव मे. That's another sandhi. Just the sandhi. तत् एव तदेव मे दर्शय देव रूपं प्रसीद देवेश जगत निवासा जगन्निवासा. How do we put that into a proper sentence? We have it in Anvaya. Hey Krishna, adrishta purvam drishtva hrushitah asmi bhayena cha me manah pravyatitam. He's expressing both, right? Adrishta purvam drishtva hrushitah asmi cha bhayena me manah pravyatitam asi. He deva tat rupam eva me darshaya. He devesha, he jagannivasa prasida. What does it mean? We click on dictionary. Adrishtapurvam drishtva, having seen that unseen sight of the past, what was never seen before, I have seen that now. Now, having seen that, Krishita asmi, I rejoice, I'm happy. Harshitaha, Krishitaha, I'm happy. But cha bhayena me manaha pravyathitam. Out of fear, my manas is also troubled. Why is the manas troubled? What is the bhaya for? For the sake of asatkritaha, for the sake of the akarma, for the sake of incomplete discharge of my dutiful obligations. And that is where we all need to be scared. Lost opportunities are the ones to be scared about. Hey Deva, oh God, oh Jagannivasa, oh final resting abode of the Jagat, the ultimate resting abode of the Jagat, the abode of the universe. Tat Rupam Eva Me Darshaya. Show me that Rupa alone of yours. Prasida. No, be pleased by me. No, show me your grace upon me. Bless me. Something like Prasida. Bless me. Have some grace upon me. He's begging. Show me that original Rupa of yours. So, having seen this Vishwarupa of yours, I'm happy that I could get the proper visualization of the end-to-end picture, though it is not complete, though I couldn't grasp it completely. Na antam na pashyami, na madhyam na pashyami, na tava adim na pashyami. I'm unable to see the entire picture, but whatever I saw in the Vishwarupa, I'm happy with that. But my manas is also troubled in fear, out of fear, because of the realization of the asat. O Devesha, O Deva, O Jagannivasa, please bless me. Please have grace upon me. Prasida. What does Aurobindo say for that? I have seen what was never seen before. Never seen by whom will be a question that many people keep asking. I think at the face of it, never seen by me. Right? Because the Vishwarupa was shown to Yashoda, Vishwarupa was shown in the Sabha where Duryodhana sees, Bhishmacharya sees. There are many people who saw the Vishwarupa. But another thing is, the Vishwarupa that each one sees is unique to them. What Prahlada sees need not be what Arjuna sees now. What Arjuna sees now need not be what Yashoda saw when he was a child, when he opened his mouth. Right? So that can be different. Each one's perception can be different. Each one can perceive the Bhagavan in our own limited way because he is beyond all the perceivable forms, right? He's just beyond all of that. So nobody can see the full picture, right? So I saw which was never seen before. So what he saw was never seen before by anybody, and what he saw was never seen by him before also. He had seen a different Krishna all this while. There can be different ways we can understand that, but yeah, having seen what I was never seen before, I rejoice, but my mind is also troubled out of fear. O Godhead, show me that other form of yours. Turn your heart to grace. O Lord of the gods, you abode of the universe. Right? Now I think we are coming to the curtains, curtain closure of these 11 shlokas. I think we have one more shloka to go. But basically, that he's back to that pravyatha. Basically, we are back to the first chapter. First chapter is where we started with the Vishada, right? That bhaya. Now, too much of information has caused him a different kind of a vyatha, pravyatha, prakarshanaat vyatha. Like, and that's a different kind of a vyatha. He was in Vishada, now he's in Vyatha now. Like he's another kind of a sorrowful state, but this is a happy trouble. This is a happy problem to be, right? This kind of a Vyatha is a happy state to be. He's Harshitaha, but also Pravyatitaha. There are two mixed feelings of his, but it's much better than the first chapter. The first chapter was about the Vishada, but in that Vishada also there is a glimmer of hope. That's why it's called the Vishada Yoga. He knew who to turn to. He turned to the Hrishikesha, the controller of the senses at that time, right? So that's also yoga. That's also in the defeat also he had some yoga compared to the first chapter situation what we see of Duryodhana. Duryodhana lost it, continued to lose it completely, went into the abysmal state. And that Duryodhana for us in chapter number 1. This is slightly better than that. Right? So let's see the next sloka, the last sloka for the day. Harihi Om. Kiritinam gadinam chakrahastam ichhami tvam drashtumaham tathaiva tenaiva rupena chaturbhujena sahasrabaho bhava vishwamurte. Kiritinam gadinam chakrahastam ichhami tvam drashtumaham tathaiva tenaiva rupena chaturbhujena sahasrabaho bhava vishwamurte. The Padacheda says, Kiritinam, Gadinam, Chakrahastam, Ichhami Tvam, Drashtum, Aham, Tatha Eva, Tathaiva. That's one sandhi. Tena Eva, Tenaiva. Similar Vriddhi sandhi again. Tena Eva, Tenaiva. Rupena, Chatush Bhujena, Chaturbhujena, Chatuhu Bhuja, Chaturbhuja. Sahasrabaho Bhava Vishwamurte. How does it sound when we put it to a proper sentence? The Anvaya says that, right? Aham tatha eva tvam kiritinam gadinam chakrahastam drashtumichhami. He Vishwamurte, he Sahasrabaho, tena chaturbhujena rupena eva bhava. What does that mean? We click on dictionary, right? Aham tatha, like that I, eva, tatha eva, like that only I would like to see what Kiritinam, the crowned state, Gadinam, the one with the mace, Chakrahastam, the one with the chakra, Drashtumichhami, that Rupa I would like to see again. He Vishwamurte, O form universal, He Sahasrabaho, a thousand armed guy, Tena Chaturbhujena Rupena Eva Bhava. Come back to your own Chaturbhuja form. Very interesting, right? Arjuna has always been seeing him in the Chaturbhuja form. When he was born, he showed the Chaturbhuja form only to Devaki and Vasudeva. And they got scared. If Kamsa gets to see you in this Chaturbhuja form, definitely he will come to kill you. Retract your Chaturbhuja Rupa and come back to two arms. And Krishna apparently showed them the two Bhuja form, two hands only. But he continued to show his Chaturbhuja form to few other people. One of them is Arjuna. So people who had to see him in this fashion saw him in this fashion. And there are some people who continue to see him right from day one with only two hands. Avyaktam vyaktimapannam banyante mam abuddhaya. There are few abuddhiman, mandabuddhi people who always saw him to be that, normal, ordinary, mortal rupa. You're just another human being type, right? But now Arjuna is requesting, O Sahasrabaho, O Vishwamurte. Sahasrabahu is the one who has infinite support to the universe. Right? He is the Sahasrabahu. He has thousand arms that can basically uplift this entire universe. Basically, everything that is supported in this universe is one Bahu of that Bhagavan. If there is something that is holding this earth in its axis, that's one Bahu of the Bhagavan. If there is something that is holding this bhumi from collapsing into the barysphere, into the ocean, that is his bahu. There is something that is holding all of us. If my hand is raising up and not collapsing down, that is one bahu of the Bhagavan. So there is that support of everyone, everything, the entire universe. That's Sahasrabahu. Oh Vishwamurte, oh form universe of this Vishwa itself is the Murti of the Bhagavan. Vishwam Vishnu, we say. हे विश्वमूर्ते हे सहस्रबाहो तथा एव अहम त्वाम किरीटिनं गदिनं चक्रहस्तं द्रष्टुमिच्छामि. I would like to see your original kiriti form. Kiriti is the ornamented form, right? What we heard, uh, you know, uh, initially in this chapter, Sanjaya explains, right? Aneka, what's that? Sanjaya explains him, Divya Malyam, Baradharam, Divya Gandhanulekvanam, Aneka Divya Bharanam. Like, there are many, many Abharana he is wearing. And Kirita is one, the crown is just the Upanakshana for the various Abharana Bhushita Rupa of his. Like, so he is that Kirita. So he is wearing everything. Gama Vishwa Bhutani Dharayam Yaham Mojasa. He's wearing all of us as that one crown element. If we do the right things in our life, we all become that one gem in that kirita, in that Bhagavan's kirita. That's the kirita. So our glory, our satkara is basically adding to that kirita. Gada is the vachaka, is the shabda vachaka, the sound, right? Gada chakra, chakra is the kriya vachaka. Chakra, there is sakrati, there is kriya. He's always moving, he's always rotating, right? So he is the lord of both the shabdatmaka prapancha and the rupatmaka prapancha. See, in our, for the human life, compared to many other species, our prapancha comes in twofold. We have the shabdatmaka prapancha, the things that we hear in the classroom. Like we heard about Uranus, Neptune, Pluto without even looking at the first telescope or the binocular of our life. Way back in the first grade, second grade, we heard about Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. We had some idea about Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, right? About Jupiter, about the solar system and things like that. So that is the Rupatmaka Prapancha. Sorry, Shabdatmaka. We heard them through the Shabda. But there is a live witnessing that happens in the real world, right? Where there is a live action happening, real actions happen. So that's the chakra. That's the Rupatmaka Prapancha. The actions and the thoughts and the actions. And that's why we have the Gada on the left hand side and Chakra on the right hand side. The congruence, when we look at our own self also, our thought processes are always driven from the left side of the brain and the actions on the right hand side. And that's where the congruence lies. So the chakra on the right hand side, the gada on the left hand side. So basically, Kirita, Gada, Chakra signifies the Rupatmaka Prapancha, Shabdatmaka Prapancha, and all the Siddhi sadhanas. That is the Kirita. He is wearing them all, right, onto his crown. So that could be one way of looking at them. Right? Aham Tvam Drashtumichhami. I would like to see your original form, which is with the Kirita, Shanka, Chakra, Gada, Hasta. Gada Padma. So these are the four Chaturbhuja form, right? So I would like to see your original He Sahasrabaho Tena Chaturbhujena Rupena Eva Bhava. Come back to your original Chaturbhuja form. So Arjuna has always been seeing Krishna in this Chaturbhuja form, which Devaki and Vasudeva got scared of and then asked him to retract. And he appeared differently to them. After that, he started appearing to be a two-armed fellow. But for Arjuna, he's a four-armed fellow. Right? That's what we hear in the Katha. So Bhagavan is the same. We see him differently. That's one very beautiful drishtanta here. I think we'll quickly see what Aurobindo interpretation says. Kiritinam, okay. I would see you even as before. I would like to see you like before, crowned with your mace and the discus. Please assume your four-armed shape, O thousand-armed fellow who form universal. Basically, now we are into the Upalakshana, Upasamhara of the entire 11th chapter. So, these 11 shlokas, one way of looking at them is that, it kind of took us back in the memory lane of what came in the 10th chapter, in the 9th chapter, in the 8th, in the 7th, back till the first chapter, and finally takes us back to the universal form in the 11th chapter. So, the 11th shloka is the 11th chapter. A very beautiful recollection of the teaching till date in the Bhagavad-Gita from the experiential recollection of an amazing student in our company, that is Arjuna. We close it here. We are 8 minutes overshot into our stipulated time frame. I will pause now. I think somebody else had come some time back. Okay, if that's the set of thoughts we had today, thanks everyone for joining us. This is something that we do every Saturday from 9:30 a.m. India time for about 1.5 hours, 90 minutes. We look at as many shlokas as possible. We have just completed till the 47th shloka of the 11th chapter. Next Saturday, we will continue from the 48th shloka. Another three shlokas from Bhagavan. I wouldn't really call them as Bhagavad-Gita in themselves. It's just for what Arjuna's request is. He will just be obliging, like how at the beginning of this chapter also Arjuna was requesting for the Vishwarupa, and he obliged with the Divya Chakshu with some four shlokas. Similarly, here now Arjuna is requesting for come back to your original form, not your Vishwarupa, reversing the course of action, and he will oblige. For that, he will have three shlokas, but we will hear them. I wouldn't call them separate Bhagavad-Gita, but the last 5 shlokas of the chapter definitely can be called as Bhagavad-Gita. We will do some Artha Chintana. Perhaps next Saturday we should be able to complete this chapter most likely, or maybe we'll be left with a couple of shlokas. But nonetheless, we will spend 90 minutes for our academic study. And we also have every morning guided Bhagavad Gita chanting, where in a day we do about 100 shlokas of guided chanting. Those who are not so familiar with Gita can learn how to do the chanting, and people who are familiar can also get better and better and help others get better. It's a japa yajna that we can offer ourselves in. Every morning, 6 o'clock to 7:30, we do this recitation, and it will help us complete the full Bhagavad Gita in a week. So we basically celebrate every week as a Bhagavad Gita Saptaha. Every week is a Saptaha for us, in that chanting. So tomorrow morning, we will continue with a new cycle with chapters 1 and 2. And every Saturday, we complete that cycle with chapters 17 and 18. So today morning, we completed the chanting of 17 and 18 chapter, and a small break in between, and we resume on for another room for this Pratipadartha. So far, we have completed till the 47th shloka. 48th shloka we will pick up from next week, and all the earlier sessions are available under the YouTube playlist. Go to the house bio, you will be able to get the access link to the YouTube channel. Please have a look in case you're interested, and please also share this with a couple of friends that we all know of who are looking for a safe space like this to help in the fundamentals of Bhagavad Gita. And again, nobody is a teacher here, nobody is experienced here. This is a community exercise. People are more than welcome to join on stage and offer your experience and offer your views as well. Some of us on the stage are only doing the initial lead in terms of facilitation. We would love to learn from one another, because at the end of the day, this is all Bhagavan's deep rooted message. And no matter how much we try to learn by our own accord, it's only little that we will be able to ever learn from the Gita. That's why we begin the day with this disclaimer that Gitartham Vakshyami Leshataha. Only little we can speak of the Gita. So please do come forward. No, we would love if you can all come forward on stage and play an active role. And please spread the word to one or two people that know of who can benefit from such a session. So with that, we will conclude now for the day. Please join me in a small Jai Ghoshti in the name of our Gita Charya, Bhagavan Shri Krishna. 3, 2, 1. Namaste Vasudevaya Preyasa me Priyottama Samasta Guna Sampurna Nirdosha Nandadayine Mukopi Yat Prasadena Mukunda Shayanayate Rajarajayate Rikto Raghavendram Tamashraye Bharati Ramana Mukhya Pranam Tarata Shri Gopala Krishna Priyatam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Have a beautiful week, everyone. Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai
Jai
Shri
Shri
Krishna.